Hey, everybody, welcome to Fire Talk. We give you the latest news updates on Southeastern University athletics. I'm Ken Ingle, president of Southeastern University. And, of course, joining me, as always, is our amazing athletic director, Drew Watson. Good to see you, Drew. How you doing?
Good to see you. Doing well. It's a busy week. It's homecoming.
Homecoming week. A lot of great things happening. A lot of good events that are going to be starting this week. Tomorrow or is it all Friday and Saturday?
It's all Friday and Saturday.
Okay. And, of course, well, we have the big fireworks as well, right?
Fireworks after the football game on Saturday. We've got, we're going to talk about in a few minutes, we've got 5 athletic events from Friday night at 8 o'clock until Saturday night at 8 o'clock. So women's basketball, women's soccer, volleyball, football, and men's soccer all competing at home Friday and Saturday. And, of course, we got the World Series.
Yeah.
You're a Dodger
How about
guy.
my Dodgers, man? 3-1.
They got their butt kicked last night.
Yeah, well, hey,
it was coming.
But last night was the strategy game where they have to use the bullpen.
Yep.
And of course, Dave Roberts is brilliant at how he's been doing that.
Yeah.
So
I don't think they'll have a problem.
No, I mean they'll go back home and win it in front of the home fans, and we'll have our parade.
Do you think that the Dodger fans are known for being late arriving?
Oh,
so
yeah.
they come in the 3rd inning, leave in the 6th inning. They don't.
Pretty much.
Does that happen in the World Series? Or are they there on time?
Everybody's there on time. You can see most everybody's there on time for this. So.
And your Clippers?
Doing great. Great start, especially winning their first 2 road games of the year. Beat Golden State in Golden State and Denver in Denver. So, they're and that's without Kawhi.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Well, that's usually what you say about the Clippers, right?
There's a rumor
Kawhi.
talk that Kawhi might go to Golden State. We'll see what happens.
So he can sit the bench there?
Yeah, exactly. I don't care what he does there.
He wants to be did not play on each bench in the NBA. Maybe he could do that.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But, yeah, it's a good time. You have baseball, football, basketball all going on at the same time.
Hockey started.
Yeah.
Of course, we did a hockey game a few
We
weeks
did.
ago. What'd you think?
I thought it was a great game. Yeah. Awesome game.
Yeah, you've been to a few Lightning games.
And pretty exciting to win the game in the last minute.
Yeah.
Basically the last minute.
Yeah. I think they were down
Scored
3-2,
2
scored 2 goals in the last minute. So it was fun.
It was exciting. Good deal. So we got a great show ahead of us.
We do, and we have two times a year we call crossover season. And that's where we're at now. Crossover season means we're transitioning from the fall sports into the winter sports, but they're all going on at the same time. So this is a busy time because you've got all the fall sports going. Now you've got wrestling, men's and women's basketball starting. And then the second time of the year is in the spring semester when you've got wrestling, men's and women's basketball, and then all the spring sports are starting on top of them. So this is one of those really busy times in athletics.
Yeah, no, but it's all good. So let's start with recapping this past week. We'll start with football, where the Fire had no problem with Warner University on Saturday, beating them 42-7.
42-7.
I mean, I understand we started out a little slow in this one, but we found ourselves kind of dominated really the rest of the game.
Yeah, this was one of those games in sports you call a trap game.
Yep.
Because you've got the number 1 team in Kaiser the week before, you got the number 5 team in the country the week after in St. Thomas, and this game not against a great opponent, and the defense came out a little sluggish in the first quarter. Warner drove right down and scored, but that was it.
Yeah. Who would you say were the difference makers in that game?
Well, we had 486 yards on offense, so there was a lot of names I could probably talk about, but the most electric plays go to Nate Michael, who rushed for touchdowns of 61, 65, and 25 yards. The last one in the fourth quarter. So we're going to show you here the first one.
Nate?
Yeah, this is the first play after halftime. We're up 14-7, and he takes it to the house here. Gets a couple really good blocks here. Hole opens up, and boom, he's gone.
He's off.
And he's a very fast man. And we don't have a clip of the second one, but the second one was a carbon copy. I mean, it wasn't from his long, but he took it to the house there. So, the defense, the highlight for me on defense, and our defense has been lights out. We're number 1 defense in the NAIA. Was in the fourth quarter, defenses take pride in the points they give up. They were ticked off about the touchdown they gave up first drive. Warner had a first and goal on the 3-yard line and did not score. Wow. 4 straight plays we stopped them. They went for it on 4th and goal, and they never even got a yard. Yeah. So that's kudos to the defense for playing a good game and waking up, really.
Yeah. And we're climbing in the polls. I think we had a big jump this week, right?
Up to number 18.
Wow.
Obviously, as we said, number 5, St. Thomas coming in on Saturday. Kickoff is a 4 o'clock kickoff, which we like to do sometimes in November. Especially for homecoming, get the folks out of here a little bit earlier, and fireworks after the game.
Yeah, and St. Thomas, they haven't had a loss this year yet, right? Or did they?
They have not had a loss in conference. They have lost out of conference.
Right, okay. Good. Yeah, it should be an exciting game. Always a big rivalry game, so we're excited about knocking off St. Thomas on
Absolutely,
Saturday.
Let's do it.
Be an exciting game for sure. Let's move on to men's soccer. Guys played to a scoreless tie against Kaiser, beat Warner 2-0 last week. Team really seems to be on a roll right now.
Yeah, we're 7-3-2 currently, and in 4th place in a very competitive Sun Conference. We had a lot of injuries earlier in the season. They've worked themselves out. The team's really playing well together at the right time of the year, right here at the end.
Yeah, and that's always good for any team as the playoffs approach. Now, this is the last week of regular season, right?
It is. We play Florida Memorial down there today. In fact, the team's playing right now down there in Miami Gardens. And then we host Weber on Saturday night at 8 p.m. Interesting note that, as I mentioned, the order of the games on Saturday, this Saturday, football is typically the last thing we do on a Saturday, but there's a men's soccer. This men's soccer game is after the football game at 8 o'clock. So looking forward to a really busy day, and it is senior day.
Yeah.
It's senior day for football, men's soccer, women's soccer. Wow. So we've got a lot going on.
Great weekend. Let's talk about women's soccer, who they lost to number 2 Kaiser on Wednesday in West Palm Beach, then beat Warner 3-2 at home on Saturday. What can we expect from them as the season kind of winds down?
Well, we talked about that. You know, we had Coach Roberts and Madeline on the show a few weeks ago, and they came out of the gate and struggled, but they've won 4 out of 5 here, and if they take care of business this week, win today at Weber, then win on Saturday, they will end up 3rd place in the conference, which is a really good spot to sit as we approach the postseason.
Yeah, what do we have coming up this week as they close out the regular season?
Weber at 3:30 on the road down there in Babson Park, and Florida Memorial comes to town at 11 a.m. Kickoff on homecoming.
Where do we stay in the conference?
We're tied for 4th, but with 2 wins here, we get up to 3rd.
Okay, great. Let's talk volleyball. Ladies split their 2 matches last week, beating Florida College in a 5-set thriller, but kind of fell to Kaiser 3-1 on Saturday.
Yeah, the match here against Florida College was electric. We were down, came back, and won in 5. Anytime you have a 5-setter in volleyball, it's exciting. This is the second time around for the conference schools. Volleyball plays everybody twice, and so the ladies really, I think they have to kind of glean the lessons from the first time around, but not take people for granted. Kaiser's a very good team, and so we've just got to stay focused here.
Yeah. And with that loss to Kaiser, I mean, where does that put them in the standings?
Well, we're still 7-2 in conference. We have a solid grip on 2nd place. We're up 2 games on game and a half on Kaiser. And that's going to help us because if you end up in the first 2, you basically make it to the Final 4 without a prelim. So
and what do we have coming up?
We travel to Babson Park to face Weber this evening, 7 o'clock, and then Florida Memorial was rescheduled for Saturday because of Hurricane Milton.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Cross country, the men and women ran in the NAIA Invitational in Knoxville last Saturday. The men came in 12th of 20 teams, and the women came in 9th of 21 teams. What do they have coming up next?
Well, their regular season is over, so the Sun Conference meet is up next on November 9th.
Okay, and we host that meet, right?
We do. Yes, It's at home over at Holloway Park, so fans will want to get over there. Typically cross country has just one home meet a year, but we host on a pretty regular basis, so this is the bonus. So we want to get a lot of fans over there.
All right, let's talk about men's and women's basketball. Season's starting up. You mentioned crossover earlier. One of the crossover sports, of course, is basketball. Women had their home opener on Monday, beating Bruton Parker 89-85, and then beat one of our sister schools, Nelson University, last night, 75-64. I happened to be at that game. Great game.
Oh, it's always good to beat a sister school, right?
Exactly.
Now, when the Super Bowl happens, you typically get mayors.
Oh, sure.
If it's Philly, New England, the Boston mayor, the Philly mayor. Do you call the presidents of these sister schools and put put anything on these games?
You know, I would love to, but I tried before and I don't know. I think they just know they're never going to win. So they don't want to deal with it.
So maybe President Kermit could send you a cowboy hat, or we could send him gator skin boots or something.
Yeah, gator bites or something, and he can send me some of those good barbecue ribs out there.
Yes, absolutely. But the games were great. I mean, the teams really come out of the gate here. They're playing pretty consistent offense. They shot very well both games from downtown. And very good defense. Last night, Nelson shot 4 for 26 from downtown. And so whenever your defense can hold 3-point shooters to that kind of percentage, it's a good thing. Now we do have a highlight from last night. Anaya Coleman, who's a junior, her second year here. We got Cassidy Jones on the wing to Caitlin Krebs. You see a good post up here by Ari Smuda. And Anaya decides to hesitate dribble.
Yeah,
foul and one. Yep. And so that's just the kind of thing, the kind of action we were getting. Now, you were there last night.
Yeah.
What were your impressions?
No, I thought they looked great as a team and gelling together even this early. You can just see it. I'm excited. Of course, brand new coach, his first year, and I think it's going to be a great season.
Yeah, really excited about it.
What are they ranked going into the
We
conference?
are receiving vote. We're receiving votes, and we are preseason number one.
Number one.
Okay.
So it's going to be a great year.
Looking
forward to it. And then usually we do Hoops Madness, on Friday night of homecoming, but I understand women's basketball is playing a game this year.
Yeah, they're actually the first event of homecoming weekend. So to have a game
Friday
where
night.
The girls are really excited about it. Should be a fun night as the homecoming parade, as we started over here on the north end of campus, comes down. It's ending at the Furnace.
Yep.
And so we invite everybody in the parade to just come in and support the ladies.
Yeah, and of course, men's basketball, when do they start?
They start Friday. They're going to Life University where they play Bryan College on Friday at, I believe it's 5 o'clock, and then we host Life on Saturday at 1 o'clock.
Okay. Same Life College where we are going to wrestle soon?
Yes. Different
My
coach.
favorite coach. Oh, a different coach now.
No, I mean, that coach does not coach basketball.
Oh, okay. But, yeah. No, that's one of my, interesting coaches that I love to watch.
Yes, very entertaining.
All right. We love to talk about all good things happening in fire athletics, and those things can't happen without the support of our sponsors. And this week, the sponsor for our show is Coca-Cola Beverages Florida. Coca-Cola Beverages Florida is proud to distribute the world's most delicious sparkling energy water, juice, tea, and coffee beverages to over 18 million Floridians every single day. Honored as the 2020 Minority Business Enterprise Supplier of the Year Class 4, Coca-Cola Beverages Florida demonstrates solid business performance, strong community involvement, and a commitment to supporting and expanding supplier diversity. Family-owned independent bottler, Coca-Cola Beverages Florida is the official soft drink of fire athletics at Southeastern University.
Coke and a smile.
Well, let's talk about one of my favorite sports here at SCU, wrestling. And another crossover sport to talk about. But with us today is head coach Travis Patrick and graduate student Graham Calhoun. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for being here.
Great to have you with us.
Okay, we'll start with you, Graham. Just a basic question. Tell us about your family, where you're from, a little bit how you heard about SCU.
So I am from Indiana. I have 3 older brothers. They're all married, so I got a big family now.
Yeah.
Grew up there my whole life, and then I went to school in Wisconsin for college for 3.5 years. I'm sure we'll get into it a little bit later, but wanted to switch it up. And my cousin actually goes to school here. A couple of my cousins have gone to school here. And so had some connections, and here I am.
Well, you're a humble guy, right? You say you went to school in Wisconsin. You went to school at Wisconsin.
I did.
Which is a D1 Big Ten school.
Way up there, D1. And where in Indiana?
So I grew up in a small town called Plymouth, which is up by South Bend.
Yeah.
Big Notre Dame fan.
Oh, absolutely.
Sorry about that.
I have
But
I have a brother-in-law that writes for the South Bend Tribune.
Okay.
Covers all those games. But I would go
Awesome.
to, there's a Lake Tippecanoe.
Yep.
Not too far. I go a lot of times summers, spent time there on the chain of lakes. And
That's awesome.
Love that area.
Now, Tippecanoe and Tyler, too.
Yeah, there we go.
Political slogan back
It
back
could
in the
be
day?
very well.
That's changing the whole tenor of the show. I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
Yeah, exactly. But being in Wisconsin, I mean, D1, what was your appeal to come to SCU?
So when I was at Wisconsin, I did overall enjoy it. It was fun, but I kind of just reached a place where it was like, okay, I started wrestling when I was 4 years old. So it was like, okay, my entire life, I had it written down when I was 5 or 6 years old, wanted to wrestle in the Big Ten, wrestle for a big school. And so that was just one track mind. Like if any NAIA school or anything like that, like looking back, I kind of regret it. But when I was getting recruited in high school, it was like, just wouldn't even think about it. It was either Big Ten, Division I, or nothing. I just wouldn't go to school. And so when I got there, it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was a cool experience for sure. But I think for the most part, I reached a point where I was like, man, I've dreamt my whole life of this, and it's just not what I was expecting. You know, it was just a little bit different. Very, very business oriented, I think.
Sure.
They take it very, very serious, which I understand. Like, it makes sense. Where for me, it's just I just started to learn to kind of minimize wrestling, where it at one point was like my whole life. So it started becoming just like a part of me rather than who I was, or at least that's what I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And it was just very hard to distinguish that while I was kind of in the grind there. And then, yeah, some doors opened up, and I ended up down here.
Yeah, we're grateful you are here.
Absolutely. Now I'm going to ask you both a question. I'll start with Graham. Outsiders that look at wrestling, and I don't just mean people outside athletics. I mean people inside athletics that don't wrestle. They wonder what it's like to make weight. I mean, when I was in high school, we had a boiler room. I grew up in Pennsylvania, and in the wintertime, you'd always find wrestlers in like trash bags,
Yes.
taped up, running in the boiler room on a match day because they've got to get down to a weight. And so, you know, what's it like to make weight every single tournament? The constant shedding of pounds and stress of it all has to be tough. What's that like for you? How do you cope with it?
So I'm actually in a very fortunate situation where I don't cut too much weight. In the past, I have, and it's just the most miserable thing you can think of.
Yeah.
I'm like Googling ice cold water just to like look at it because I need to, since I can't drink anything before weigh-ins. Yeah, no, it's not fun at all, but it is for the most part of the sport. But yeah, for me, probably since my junior year of high school, I think I've cut maybe 1 or 2 times since then. Other than that, like right now, I sit 5 or 6 pounds over. So I guess I'm cutting a little bit.
Yeah.
For outsiders, it may seem like a lot, but when you're in the sport, it's not really much. So yeah, I mean, people are right in saying it's crazy.
And is there a little wiggle room, or do you have to be right on?
So if you're 0.1 over, then you don't wrestle. Wow.
So there's about 8 pounds per between weight classes, at least at the lighter weight. So lightest weight is 125, so you have to weigh 125 or less.
Okay.
So then the next weight up is 133. So when you weigh in, you got to be 133.0 or less. Okay. So once again, if you're 0.1 over, yeah, you gotta go up.
So how about from your perspective as a former wrestler, now a coach, you know, how do you view that part of your sport?
Yeah, it's a unfortunate, I guess, aspect of the sport that it's just something you got to embrace and do the right way. I'll say the sport's come a long way since the trash bags and the boiler room days, and I think that was probably around my freshman year of high school where there were some issues with guys in saunas and wearing, you know, ski suits or whatever, and trash bags and sauna suits and taking creatine. And I think that was kind of around that whole time that nutrition really wasn't delved into the same way.
Yeah.
So now it's about finding the right weight class for these guys. So it's an aspect of it where some guys on our team cut more than others. I'm not a huge proponent of cutting weight. I want us to be able to compete well and wrestle well, but at the same time, there's getting your body down to that optimal weight. There's going to be some cutting that goes in with it.
There's a mental health aspect to it too, I'm sure. I mean, that's tough.
Yeah, and I mean, Graham and I were talking about this before he came over here, and I've had conversations with a lot of our seniors. I mean, you're doing it for long enough. He's been doing it since he was 4 years old, and we've had other guys doing it for a long time, and then you add on 4 years of college. So we talk with a lot of our seniors about we kind of manage what events they're going to compete in, because I can't have these guys making weight 12, 13, 14 times during a year and expect them still to be fresh and have some pop at the national tournament.
Sure.
So we manage their reps a little bit when it comes to cutting weight.
Well, speaking of the national tournament, there is no greater joy that I've sensed in our athletic department than when the national tournament's over and they can eat.
Yeah.
Like it's great. It's just pizza. It's just really. I've always wanted that. I'm a basketball coach, former basketball coach, and I just always that's been a very interesting aspect of your sport.
We can set up a weight cut for you if you want to experience kind of that relief of like what water feels like. We can work that out.
That's funny. I was honored to attend the red and black duels last Friday night. What an amazing night and packed place, and we celebrated 10 years. Hard to believe we started wrestling 10 years ago. Coach, what does that mean to you? How do you view your stewardship of this amazing program, especially under your leadership?
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge honor for me to be able to be here for the last 4 years and continue the growth of the program. And that's one thing that I told our team when I got here in my first days. It's not a rebuild; it's to continue to build. There's a lot of great things the program was able to do before I got here, and we've been blessed and had a lot of favor to continue to build on that and have national champs and win some trophies and all that. So for me, like stewarding that is stewarding relationships at the school, stewarding relationships with our alumni, and continuing to bring in the right guys. So winning is great. Winning is important. It's an aspect of our job, but it can't be the ultimate goal of our program. And so relationships are so big, and that's why it was special for me seeing, I think we had 26 or 27 of our alumni come back.
Alumni.
And I think we only have about 40 alumni, and as fairly young program. So to have over half our alumni come back is great, and being able to stand and talk with those guys for an hour after the duel. And I know some of them hung out. They were saying they were hanging out in the parking lot until about 11 o'clock at night, just talking and catching up. That's a special aspect of the program and what I want it to continue to be.
And some of those wrestlers have gone on to be coaches, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, we have a couple of them coaching locally and a couple, coaching out of state that couldn't make it for that reason, that they're now in season. But yeah, it's great to see them go and start impacting lives as well.
Yeah, no, it's exciting.
So Graham, from a student athlete standpoint, coming into a program that's celebrating 10 years, how do you look at the responsibility you have to carry on that tradition as you come into this program?
Yeah, I think that's something that's pretty special about this program is how quickly the school has become so good at wrestling. Like only 10 years. I don't know how many years we've been top four. Last 5 or 6 years maybe. And so I think that, coming into that is just like, oh man, okay, what can I do to add value to this team? What can I do to step up as a leader, as an older guy, and keep going in the direction that they were already going before. So like he said, it's not like we're rebuilding. It's not like any of that. We're just, okay, how can we get better? And looking at every aspect of what we do and trying to get better in every single thing that we're doing. But
that's good.
Yeah. Coach, we have another great season starting. So give us a little preview of what we can expect for this season. Who are the guys we should be looking at?
Yeah, you're looking at one of them right here. But we're starting out in a good spot again. We're ranked third to start the year, and I always tell the guys they don't hand out any team trophies in October and November.
Right.
So we got a lot of work to do. But I think we do have some guys that are not currently ranked in the country that'll you'll see some of them get onto the scene this weekend. I think they'll knock some guys off at Patriot Open. You saw some of them this last week at Red versus Black. But we got 5 guys that have been on the podium before, 5 returning All-Americans that you obviously want to keep your eye on. We got Andrew Voiles, who's coming back as a redshirt sophomore, took 7th last year. Cale Brisker going into his senior year, coming off a 4th place finish. Trace Braun, senior, he's coming off a 7th place finish. You got Graham finishing out his career this year after finishing in the finals last year, and then Gage Braun, 2022 national champ, coming back for another run at it. So just those guys alone, get you excited, but we got a lot of young guys that are chasing those guys and on their heels. So Chris Kelly's a senior this year, and he was one match from being on the podium last year. So we're expecting good things from him. And then, we got some hungry 125-pounders, some young guys, some freshmen that I expect to see step up. Aaron Lucio at 133, he's coming in from Michigan. He was at a D2 school out there, and we're expecting to see him step in and do some good stuff this weekend. So I could keep naming probably 5, 6, 7 other guys. So
how many do you have on the roster? I mean, it's a great roster.
Yeah, we got 45.
Wow.
So usually we're sitting kind of in that 40 to 45 range, and allows us to redshirt some of these talented freshmen that we have coming in, and they can learn behind guys like Graham and guys like Cale, and then next year when those guys graduate, they're ready to hit the ground running.
Yeah. So Graham, what in your view would make for a successful season, and how do you go about preparing for it?
It's funny. So for me, I kind of break it into 2 areas, and it's 1 spiritual and then 2 wrestling. So I think as far as wrestling, I know for myself, anything besides the national title, I feel like would be a little let down in my own opinion.
Because you were right there. Right?
I was right there.
You wrestled for it last year.
So in the finals last year, I lost 5-4, and that guy's coming back this year, which excites me and motivates me. And so, I know individually for me, it's, what can I do to be on the top of the podium in March? And then as a team, and I think Coach kind of mentioned it a little bit, I think we have a really special group this year. Some of these freshmen are like shocking me. They're so good and they're so young, with a lot of older guys and returners that are really solid. So I think we can make some waves. Hopefully, get out there, compete, and maybe upset Life or Grandview, those top 2 teams. But yeah, I'm excited for this year. I know team trophy and an individual national title as far as wrestling are definitely where I'm looking.
So the guy that beat you, is he your wallpaper on your phone? Right
He's not. He's not my wallpaper on my phone. No, I don't know if it goes that deep, but I definitely think about it.
For sure. Great
once a day,
motivator.
maybe.
Great motivator.
But yeah,
that's awesome. Final question to both of you. As you know, the SU word of the year is fuel the fire. As a coach and as a student athlete competing, what does that mean to each of you personally?
Yeah. For me, it's kind of the perspective that we're coming from, and we have talked a lot about that this last year, kind of what drives us and what our purpose is. And we have one of our core values as a program is also the athletic department core values here, and that's gratitude. So that's kind of our fuel. Is gratitude. So if we're coming in every day, and we're grateful just to be a part of the program. We're grateful to be here at Southeastern. We start each day I'll pick 3, 4, 5 guys at the start of practice and just, hey, what are you grateful for today? So just kind of setting our tone that way, and we enjoy being around each other, love being around each other, and it's a physical sport, but we find our fuel from those relationships like we talked about before, and being grateful for the opportunities ahead of us.
Yeah. That's outstanding.
I think kind of like what Coach was saying is just finding a way to cling to different words, different things, whether that's gratitude. I know we just went over kind of word or phrase of the year for the wrestling team, and mine specifically was choose joy no matter what's going on. And so I think joy is another one where you just kind of cling to those and you fuel those areas rather than focusing on any negative. I know for choose joy, it's like, man, if I'm in a really tough practice or I'm getting my butt kicked or whatever it is, like, man, those are times where it's a little bit harder to choose joy.
Yeah.
But you just remind yourself that and you feel that, and then you're like, okay, I may not be super happy right now, but I can choose joy, And so I think just clinging to those areas of staying positive and encouraging and uplifting people and staying grateful and choosing that joy, I think when you cling to those and fuel those areas of your life, it's kind of what you focus on is what you're going to get out of it.
Does perspective help you there? I mean, you're coming from a situation that you said was very business-like, and now you're in a more communal environment, an environment that builds you up as a man. Do you ever, when you're searching for joy, do you ever look backwards and go, man, perspective tells me I'm in a great place?
Absolutely. I know for me, talking to anyone, people will ask, what's the number one thing that changed when you gave your heart to Christ? And the more I think on it, I think it's just my perspective. My perspective on everything has shifted. And so, man, you just start to realize, like, oh, we get to do this sport. We get to cut weight. We get to go out and compete.
Yes.
We get to go through the hard work. You start to shift that from like, oh, I have to do this.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just makes you so much more grateful. It helps you compete more free. It's a privilege and an honor. And then just shifting that perspective more towards like what really matters. Like, man, we've had almost 20 guys on the team accept Christ in their hearts this year.
Wow. Amazing.
Over 15 of them got baptized in the pool over here.
Yeah.
About to start a discipleship book with over 10 of the guys. And so just seeing stuff like that, man, it makes you really put in perspective of like, okay, man, technically I'm here to wrestle, but I'm here for so much more.
Yeah.
And so that keeps that perspective kind of in check. And no matter what's going on the mat, no matter what's going on in life, like, man, you just cling to those things and feel those things that really matter for sure.
It's good wisdom.
Well said.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, man, it's a privilege to have you on the show today. Grateful that you're both at SCU and you take this program to so much more. So we're grateful.
Yeah. Thanks for being here.
Thanks
Good
for
luck
having
this season.
Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it.
Well, Drew, that's a wrap for today. We want to make sure to remind everyone to come out this weekend for all the homecoming athletic events, starting with women's basketball Friday night at 8 p.m. Then on Saturday, we have a busy day. Women's soccer at 11 a.m., volleyball at 1:30, football at 4 p.m., and then men's soccer right after the fireworks at 8.
Yeah, make sure you visit scufire.com for the latest news in fire athletics. You can find the event calendar there, as well as a link to watch all of our home games for free. Good luck to the fall sports as they make their playoff run and the winter sports as they get started.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today, and go Fire!
Go Fire!